Over the past couple of years, there have been questions and confusion over OnePlus's evolving brand image. Once the plucky upstart with phenomenally good phones for the money, OnePlus is now fully a sub-brand of Oppo, launching all manner of devices. Its flagship for 2023 is the OnePlus 11. The Pro naming is gone, but the spirit remains. I'm Cam Bunton from Pocket-lint, and this is our review. And if you like it, please do leave a thumbs up, subscribe, and tap the notification bell to make sure you don't miss any more. Now, we've had a similar display with curved edges for a few years now on OnePlus flagships. In fact, little has changed since the OnePlus 9 Pro. It's a similar size, thickness, and weight too, and that means it can be a tiny bit cumbersome to hold one-handed. If you make a habit of resting your phone on your pinky, it can induce some strain and also makes it hard to reach the elements in the top corners of the display. Bigger developments are seen on the back, where OnePlus has moved from a neat, small rectangular housing for the cameras on the 9 Pro to a large glossy square on the 10 Pro, and for the 11, it's become a massive circular black hole. That is, by the way, the company's own name for that design. I haven't just made that up. It's a huge circular island on the back of the phone with shiny shimmering surface and Hasselblad's logo front and center. Plus there's a stainless steel platform reaching around the side where it joins with the aluminium frame. And a frame which, unlike the 10T, includes the alert slider again, for easy switching between ring, vibrate and silent. There's something quite satisfying about having a physical switch to enable this function. One slightly bemusing decision from OnePlus this year is the waterproofing downgrade. It's IP64, which means it's not certified for submersion in water but can cope fine with rain and sweat. This isn't the only questionable area in terms of durability either. Now, usually in the time that it takes us to test a review phone, we wouldn't typically pick up any major marks or scratches. And yet, the OnePlus 11 has already picked up a number of marks in the corners where it goes into the pocket. So if you want our advice, we'd say leave the screen protector on this one, even though it does have Gorilla Glass Victus, which is supposedly the toughest version of Gorilla Glass yet. Now, as for the rear finish, the texture and the feel will very much depend on which colour you go for. The black model has a frosted textured glass on the back. We wouldn't call it rough, but it's certainly got a grippy texture that's not smooth. The green model, on the other hand, has a shiny glass exterior. We suspect that one is quite slippery, given similar finishes we've used from them in the past. The good news though is that neither will show fingerprints all that easily. The black model doesn't tend to pick them up at all, thanks to the rougher texture, and the light diffusing layer under the glossy surface of the green model means they're not all that visible on the green one either. Now, over the past few years, the biggest strides in mobile display tech, apart from the obvious flexible folding displays, has all been around adaptive refresh rates. In a relatively short time, we've seen displays adopt 120Hz refresh rates and also build in the ability to adjust from very low refresh to very high, to the point where after 2022 there wasn't much that could be done to improve it. The third generation LTPO panel in the OnePlus 11 is evidence of this and is very much an incremental update on the OnePlus 10 Pro. It has the same Quad HD Plus resolution and 120Hz maximum refresh rates. Where the third gen panel differs is that it adjusts its frame rate quicker and more efficiently than the previous generation. You might not ever see this difference with the naked eye, but the idea is that by reducing the time it takes to adjust, it reduces the drain on processing and battery. The display itself, or the bits you can actually see, are just as impressive as they have been on top-tier Android phones for the past couple of years. It's a big, bright and vibrant panel that's a joy to watch all manner of content on. Colours really pop and yet don't ever feel over the top or oversaturated. With the Quad HD resolution enabled, text and details are crisp and sharp too, but you will need to switch that on if you want it. It's set to Full HD Plus by default to save battery. Now, with the latest panel, it doesn't seem to over-egg the reds and oranges and kill detail in those, which has been an issue in the past. And colour gamut support is really wide with lots of depth and brightness. It's eye-catching and attractive. For those who do like to play, there is that option within the software to do that. The calibration options within the display settings mean you can choose from a number of different colour profiles. That includes the industry standard Display P3 mode and a Brilliant mode for a slightly different take on the default Vivid. Now, one area that sometimes flies under the radar because it's not something you'd often notice is the auto brightness. It's been a OnePlus Oppo strong point in recent years, and the OnePlus 11 delivers again. When light levels change around you, the display quickly and smoothly adjusts the brightness. It's not jumpy, but seems to happen in real time naturally when you need it. I haven't had to adjust the brightness manually at all since I've had this phone. Customization does run through the core of OnePlus's software as a whole, and although it's realistically just a fork of Oppo's ColorOS 13, there's plenty to like about the company's take on Android. For instance, in the Wallpapers and Style menu, you can change the wallpaper, and set accent colors in the interface to match it. You can change and customize the always-on display and completely customize app icons including shape, size and labeling. Even elements like the quick settings drop-down shade can be customized, as well as the system font, the fingerprint animation and the edge lighting that pulses when a notification comes in. But despite all of these extras, the software is a pretty light touch because it doesn't come with lots and lots of preloaded apps. Just mostly the standard Google ones and a couple of added extras. And the interface just glides easily under the finger. And this fits in with OnePlus's whole brand identity being wrapped around the idea of having a fast and smooth phone. The 120Hz display matched with a fluid and light software experience combines with a top-tier processor to deliver probably the fastest and smoothest phone experience you can have. It's not just the processor that's seen an increase in performance this year either. Both the RAM and the storage have been upgraded to make them faster. Everything is faster. All of those elements combined mean that virtually every part of the phone's experience is delivered quickly. Whether it's loading up the camera app, downloading and installing games, or booting up your favorite graphically intense games, you're not left waiting. As a bonus, I rarely felt it get warm either unless it was plugged into charge and using its fast charging ability. Now, battery life is solid enough with a 5000 mAh battery inside, more than capable of lasting through to the end of a busy day. I wasn't blown away by its performance, but it was reliable enough and rarely concerning. With my typical moderate 3 hours of screen time a day, most of which is social media and gaming, it would be around 30% at the end of the day. The good thing though is that because of the 100-watt SuperVOOC charging, I didn't really have to think about the battery life much at all. Oftentimes I wouldn't even plug it in at night and would just wait until I got to that dreaded 19% level where the battery icon goes red and then plug it in. Usually that would be about a day and a half after it was last fully charged. And because it is so fast, I could plug it in for 10 or 15 minutes and that would get me all the way back up above 75% again. In fact, a full charge from 1% can be done in about 25 minutes. If, however, you never break the routine of charging at night, you can do that safely knowing the battery charging optimizer automatically kicks in to ensure it's not charging too fast for too long. This smart feature also works the other way, so if you plug the phone in when it's getting low in the middle of the day, it'll assume you want a fast top up and deliver that charge quickly. Now, as for the camera system, each of the lenses this year has a distinct purpose and does it well. There are no junk lenses to be found anywhere. Each one features a stronger sensor than we've seen in previous models. But what struck me the most about the camera system this year was the selfie camera on the front of the phone. Whether you're shooting in regular photo mode or in portrait mode from the front camera, the result is a photo that looks a lot more natural than previous offerings. The rear camera system is strong too. The OIS equipped primary camera delivers sharp images with good detail and depth. With good light levels, outdoor plant life looks vibrant with strong colors, and if it wasn't for some over-sharpening and so-so HDR performance, it would be a fantastic system. Often images are delivered with a sense that exposure and brightness could be a little bit higher to lift the shadows and stop the over-darkened colors in places. Likewise, we'd find that with contrasting light levels, bright skies and light reflecting off objects, that the HDR didn't do enough to even those out, instead delivering an image that was too contrast heavy, and with that look of artificial sharpness and dark shadows that stops everything from looking truly lifelike. These same characteristics are seen in pretty much any condition when shooting in the default automatic mode, but you get good levels of detail on areas in focus. Even animal fur of our favourite feline companion looked good detail-wise. At nighttime, using either auto or night mode, it's the same story. There's a sense that dark areas are too dark and could do with a little lift to show more detail and texture, while that dark contrasting with the light areas creates a similarly contrast-heavy look with unnatural over-sharpening. The plus side to all of this is that when you compare images from all three cameras, OnePlus has done a decent job of ensuring the results at least match each other in terms of colour and contrast, so it's a pretty consistent experience across all three lenses. And that 2x zoom lens just means you can get a little bit closer or use it as a portrait lens. It's good for that. Now, in an everyday performance sense, the OnePlus 11 5G is the most complete flagship OnePlus phone experience that we've used so far. The display is genuinely fantastic with great detail, colors and refresh rates, plus the phone is fast, has great bloat-free software and very speedy charging. If it wasn't for the concerns over how easily the glass scratches on the curved display and the slightly contrast-heavy results from the cameras, it would be close to perfect. And of course, if it had wireless charging and better waterproofing. But for the money you're paying for it, you get a great phone. I've been Cam. If you do like this phone or you want to talk to me about it, use the comments down below, or you can get me on Twitter. I'm at Cam Bunton. If you did like this video, please do leave a thumbs up, subscribe and tap the notification bell, and that way you won't miss any more of our uploads. I'll see you again in the next one. Bye for now.